For a more immersive experience, I recommend you wear headphones for this podcast. Welcome to Mil-Liminal, Episode 12, Olly Olly Oxen Free. Hey listeners, well, it's been a while. It's me, your favorite no one of any interest, Caro Greene, coming to you once again from the middle of the woods at a secluded gas station. Second exit on the left, where the darkness pools on the edges of pink and purple neons. Haunted by a Volvo. And like I said, it's been a while. Time keeps moving, it seems, even when I don't want to, even when I feel like I can't. Gotta stick to routine. Get up, go to work, shuffle back home, lay in bed and watch old horror movies. Squeeze my eyes shut and watch the sparks of color dance behind my lids until I fall asleep. Try not to think too much of anything. Get up and do it again. But I can't live on routine. I need enrichment, a change of pace. And sure, there's the horrors that happen on occasion, but even that has been quiet lately. Just the rustling of memory ghosts and the occasional flickering of lights. Which means I have to do something about it myself. So, I finally dragged myself up and rolled out of bed, climbed into the Datsun. If I can't hit unpause, then I guess I'll just have to drive out of the frame. It was half dusk, the kind of lighting that's the hardest to see in, 'cause it's not dark enough for your headlights to really work, but too dark for them not to be on, and everything is this weird shade of washed out gray. And I didn't know where I was going. I don't always know. Sometimes I just drive. Sometimes I think about driving out of the frame completely and never looking back. Do you ever get that feeling? Like a pull towards the mountains or maybe the California coast, somewhere warm, where the sun will dry up all the mold in my pores that makes my limbs sticky, crunchy bones that keeps me tied to this place like moss. Anyway, I didn't drive to California. Instead, I found myself standing on a familiar street in a familiar town, not so far down the road, for the first time since not so long ago, I guess. I don't remember how I got here. I got in the car, I blinked, and now here I am. I must have parked nearby, around the corner, 'cause now I'm standing in the middle of the road. It's a quaint and quiet road. Suburban small town. There's two-story houses in different shades of gray and white, trees and manicured lawns, picket fence perfection. And I stand there, across the street on cracked sidewalk, staring at the two houses in front of me. Darkness is falling, and I'm standing on the edge of a pool of orange light, letting the grayness take me. There's a chill in the air, but I can't feel it. I'm numb. And I stare at the negative space in between, the gap separating two homes. That's maybe the one fault in the neighborhoods around here. The homes are too close together, barely 6 feet apart. Too far to reach across, but close enough that childhood walkie-talkies work if you each had your bed pulled up closest to the walls nearest each other. I can still hear the crackling static. But I'm not thinking about that right now. I can't think about it. I'm thinking about sitting on a couch, watching adults mill and mingle around me. It wasn't about me. Nothing ever was. I was just a centerpiece. A pretty thing to be fussed over when I wasn't being ignored. Mostly, though, I was being ignored. How many nights had I spent like that, dressed to the nines in a party outfit, seen and not heard, a trophy on a shelf? My parents threw plenty of parties, cars parked up and down the street, rubbing shoulders with socialites, keeping up with the Joneses. The taffeta was always itchy. The tops were always too low cut for my comfort, covered in rhinestones and glitter, and the stupid heels that dug into the back of my feet and pinched my toes. I was short. I'm still short. The heels didn't do much to change that. Pink stained with red where they dug into me, but no one really noticed. Not even me. My friends were never invited, not even the cheer team, and especially not the punks with their cigarettes and leather, dyed hair and clouds of smoke floating over them like an ever present ghost. My parents liked to look good, important. My modeling career was taking off, and I made them important, just a trophy on a mantle to show what good parents they were to raise such a pretty and popular daughter. A lovely, well behaved child. So demure, polite, and soft spoken, a treasure. I remember zoning out and thinking I'd become part of the chair, the decor. Maybe I'm a lamp, or a lap quilt, or worse, a doily. I'd daydream because, listener, I was bored, and I'd think about getting into the car I could almost afford with the money I'd been stashing in my shoe in my closet and driving far away from here. I had plans. I remember that I'd feel a little sideways sometimes from the sip of champagne that I had, and then suddenly I heard static crackle. It would be far away in my room, my eyes darting through the crowd of adults my parents invited to parade me in front of, but luckily no one notices, so I'd get up and I'd leave, a trail of loose glitter in my wake, and I'd creep up the stairs, walking on my tippy toes to keep the heel from clicking against hardwood to my room, and there it is again. The walkie-talkie tucked under my mattress that I hadn't used in several years. I didn't even know it still had battery left. And I have to stifle my laughter because it's very quiet. The volume is turned very low, but I can hear the rhythmic chanting of one of the cheers from the football games I regularly perform at. Except it's bad. In the sing-song voices of boys several years past puberty, which makes it sound even goofier, and I have to practically shove my fist in my mouth to keep from laughing too loud. And I snatch up the walkie and hiss for them to shut up before somebody hears you. And I can hear laughing outside the window. I throw it open and stare down into that in-between space at my neighbor and his friends, and even a couple of girls from my cheerleader team, all grinning up at me with the familiar glint of mischief in their eyes. Orange streetlight pooling their faces makes them look scary. The hell are you wearing? More laughter, but they aren't making fun of me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not that. And I roll my eyes. Oh my God, shut up. Do you want to get me busted? Ha, you're making it snow with all that glitter, Care Bear. Standing here now, I instinctively run my hand through my short hair, grinning a bit at the memory of shaking my head wildly out the window so the glitter rained down on them. Try not to giggle too hard. And I know that there's a possibility some of you are listening to this. And I know you remember those nights, and how I managed to climb out of my window in heels into the in-between space of the houses, and we jumped in your van, and I spent the evening in the park, beneath the ghost of your smoke, barefoot and laughing and singing, and eating sweets that you nicked from the gas co, and belonging in a way I never did at home. And how I snuck back in hours later and not a soul noticed I was gone. Somehow, we always lucked out with that when you were around. All anyone noticed was that my shoes were missing, 'cause they were expensive. I haven't come back here since I climbed into the front seat of the Datsun, eyes red from crying, arms bruised, bones aching, and drove. But now I'm standing in my own neighborhood, across from my old house and staring at the gap between the buildings, the gap between our rooms, slightly overgrown with grass and weeds, even though both our families still live here. It's just an empty, negative space. I'm wearing an oversized hoodie and jeans. I'm so small, I just look like a little kid left out too late. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? I don't think if they looked out the window now, they'd even know me. I don't think they knew the posture of my stance or the movement of my walk. I don't think they knew the shape of me beneath makeup and costume and theater. I don't mean how my body looks. I mean the part of your person that makes you you. How your friends know it's you before they see your face because of how you move and how the world moves around you, the shapes you make in the air. I pull the hood up over my head and I make my way back from where I now know I came from, because of course I parked my car in the shadows a street over, exactly where that van waited for us, engine running, fuzzy dice in the mirror, not so very long ago. It's late when I get back. Darkness has overtaken, and it's my day off, which means the lights inside the Gasco are off, though the sign above the highway is still illuminated. It splashes colored lights on the asphalt on the edges of the lot. It's uncanny and a little off kilter, kind of like my heart at the moment. I have the radio turned up loud, mostly because way out here I know it won't bother anyone, and I'm sitting in the Datsun and feeling a little floaty, like when I'd had a sip of champagne at my parents' parties, and having that kind of out of body experience you can only have when listening to the sound of Chester holding that one ragey note for way too long, threatening to blow my speakers. I should get out of the car. I sigh and I open my eyes, and I can see the colors of the sign reflecting on the Datsun's hood, except it's not quite right. Purple. No pink or orange. I blink and I look up, trying to see if some of the lights on the sign have burnt out so I can tell Sam in the morning, but I can't see the sign. It's too dark. That weird swallow the world kind of dark that happens sometimes around here. So I open the door to get a better look, and don't go outside. Why would you go outside? I undo my seatbelt and lean out. Why the hell would you get out of the car? Don't. And I set my foot down on the ground. I'm flat on my back, staring up at the sky through an opening in thick trees. The sky is cobalt. The air is cold. It's sharp on my cheeks and hands. Speaking of my hands, the ground is soft, moist, and my fingers dig into the soil when I pull myself up to a sitting position. I'm in the woods. Well, that can't be good. How the hell did I end up in the woods? These are not my woods. Maybe not far off, but the sky is clear. It was cloudy at the Gasco. Here I can see the faint glow of the Milky Way strewn across deep purple. I pull myself to my feet, tipping a little sideways. The Datsun is gone. There's no parking lot, no road. It's bright enough because of the moon that I can see that there's not even a trail. I'm just standing in the middle of an unknown wood by myself, in the middle of the night, wearing nothing but shorts and an oversized hoodie. I run my hands through my hair. Okay, calm down. Think. People get lost and die in the woods all the damn time. But I'm not gonna die. This isn't a normal get lost and die kind of a situation. I've made it too far to die just because a parking lot at my job decided to temporarily relocate me. No, I refuse. Actually, now that I've had a moment to orient myself, I'm a little bit pissed off. The unknown doesn't usually mess with me on my day off, not more than the occasional ghostly sighting anyway, and if there's one thing I know about myself, as long as I stay mad, I won't panic. I look around. I don't know very much about forests. I wasn't the kind of kid that was allowed to be dirty or muddy, so exploring the woods on the edge of town was out of the question. I never learned much about camping or anything either, and my neighbor, who usually would have taught me stuff like this, well, his dad left him in the woods overnight after a particularly bad Boy Scout camping trip to man him up. And after that, He preferred the streets and the city parks. I don't get the vibe that the old stay put and wait for rescue adage is gonna work here. It's too quiet. There's no distant highway, no low buzz of neon sign, no rumble of helicopter, no indication I'm anywhere near anyone who could potentially rescue me. And of course, I don't have my phone on me. I have a wallet and a protein bar and cheer sneakers. The panic is starting to creep in now as the anger wears off. Crackly nerves. The hairs on my neck are standing up. My ears are filling with static as I sink to a crouch and wrap my arms around myself, trying to hold in the shaking. I squeeze my eyes shut, trying to will the buzzing and crackling in my head to stop, and that's when I realize it's not in my head. It stops. Silence all around me. I open my eyes and I hear it again. It's not rhythmic. It's not a panic attack in my head. It's not the buzz of the in-between places. It's crackling static of someone pressing the talk button on the other end of a walkie-talkie somewhere. Which means the receiving end is somewhere near me. I yell out, "Hello?" And my voice bounces back to me through the trees. There's no response. I try again, nothing. The sound of static makes me jump. Kids playing forest games? Blair Witch Project? I didn't even know people still use these things. Now, with the world of technology we have at our fingertips. Either way, a sign of life, and if I can find it, someone will help me. I scramble to my feet and spin on the spot, praying for it to start up its crackling again. In my panicked rush, I trip and fall, scraping my knee on the tangled roots of a large tree. I sit there for a minute, panting, not feeling the pain or caring about the blood. Fingers curled into moss and dirt, eyes searching frantically. I pull myself up again. Blood runs down my leg in a thin stream from my scraped knee and soaks into my sock, but I don't care. I don't even feel it. The static starts up again, and I see it, a faint red blinking, teeny tiny light buried half in the soil. My hands reaching, I'm lying half on my side, trying to detangle the small plastic box from moss and roots and muck of plants. My fingers strain and it snaps free. I fall back on my butt on the moist ground, but I don't care. Help is here, and I smash down the talk button. Is anyone there? And I wait. The static comes on of someone pressing the button on the other side for a moment, and I hear what sounds like breathing. And it cuts off. I press talk again. Please. My voice sounds so broken. Do I always sound like that? Is it just an impending panic attack? Please don't leave me here. I need help. Static. The voice is weak behind several layers of crackling and interference, as though the connection between us is very, very far away. Is someone there? It chimes beneath the noise. Yes, I'm here. Please, can you help me? No. My heart sinks. Can you tell someone? I can't be that far from you if the walkie works. Maybe someone else could help, please? It's cold here. Crackling in a long pause. The faint sound of short, panicked breaths. There's no one here. It's just me. I inhale and feel tears welling up. Why do I end up alone, on my butt, and in tears so often these days? I didn't cry as much back then, but maybe that's because I always knew one way or another help was coming. And now I feel untethered, like I'm floating through my life and no one's on the other end, waiting to yank back the rope when I go too far, get too lost. I'm just out here, alone, with no one to keep me grounded. And then I think about Sam, and how I'm not alone, not really. Except I can't reach him from here, and I tighten my grip on the walkie. I'm sorry, the voice murmurs. My heart drops. This person's really just going to leave me here with no help or hope, aren't they? I'm trying to think of something to help. I don't know where the other end of this walkie is. I didn't even know it still worked. Can you tell me where you are? And then I could figure out if I'm anywhere near where I'm supposed to be, I ask. I don't know. Can you get to a phone? I could give you a number to call.
It doesn't work. The lines are always dead.
Ah, I set the walkie down and pinched the bridge of my nose, wiped the tears from my eyes. There's no sound at all except for the hitched sobs I'm trying to repress, muted and muffled in the big wide wood, tiny and insignificant, breaking up the unnatural silence around me. I pause, holding my breath, and open my eyes wide, peering into the dark. Where have the noises gone? Growing dread works its way through my veins like an oil spill, choking the life out of me. The crunch of leaves break the deadly silence, and somehow I know it's not rescue, or an animal, or anything natural. But it's grown dark over the last few minutes, and all I can see is the light and dark dancing between the dense trees, shadows playing tricks on my eyes, curling and creeping all around me. The sensation where if you stare in the dark too long, you can see it moving. Except, I'm pretty sure it is moving. Crackling static loud in my ears, my eyes snap open. Are you hurt? And I'm not sure what changed. The voice is still tiny, far away. I can't determine age or gender from it. I can barely understand it. But now it's laced with something else. Fear. I scraped my knee, I say on autopilot, staring into the writhing woods.
Bleeding?
A little. I look at my sock, soaked in blood, droplets dry on white leather on my shoe. A pause. A crackle. Fear squeezing my chest so tight I feel like I'm going to break into a million pieces.
You need to get out of there, now.
Run! The last word comes out crystal clear, but I'm on my feet and running, and I can hear it behind me, closing in on me like a crash of a wave, an avalanche, a cave-in, a million sounds of death I've never heard before, on my heels, but I race. Little but fast. Ducking under, leaping over, and running until my chest feels like it might burst, until my side feels like it's been pierced clean through with a giant needle, till my skin's on fire and my torn knee burns and I feel like I might spontaneously combust into nothing. I run. And it feels like there's no ground beneath me, till I hear nothing but the high-pitched ringing in my ears all around me, consuming me until I realize I have no footing and I tumble. And everything goes white like a flash burst in my eyes and... It's like I'm watching myself from the outside, except I'm a little kid, white blonde hair and ringlets, and a pink jumper dress. And I'm running down the hallway of my house. It seems so long, endless when you're just a tiny kid, and I'm running so fast, I might as well be flying. Faster and faster. I swear I don't remember feeling the ground beneath my feet. I'm actually convinced I can fly, even if it's just for a beat, a few feet down this hallway. The staircase is just ahead, and I swear I've lifted above it all. If I just go fast enough when I round that corner, I'll just fly away. The picture snaps out, and I'm gone.